The Buddha's Anger, a tale of appearance and essence. This story is a scene from when the Buddha was staying at a monastery by a lotus pond in the city of Champa. It teaches the wisdom to discern the truth regardless of appearances and the importance of morality and ethics. It also teaches us about the sense of responsibility within a community. Through the young monk's actions and the Buddha's insightful teachings, we learn about the complexity of human relationships and the significant impact an individual's actions can have on those around them. This story reflects the core Buddhist teachings of inner purity, individual responsibility, the importance of community, and the necessity of self-growth. By incorporating these teachings into our daily lives, we can lead more harmonious and meaningful lives. Now please enjoy this story of timeless wisdom with a peaceful mind. It was when the Buddha was staying at a monastery by a lotus pond in the city of Champa. There was a large room where many monks gathered and quietly conversed in front of the Buddha. Suddenly, a corner became noisy, and the monks present were surprised and turned their faces all at once toward the loud voices. From the center of the commotion, a young monk with a sturdy-looking body quickly stood up. He shook his shoulders and threatened in a suppressed voice, glaring at the other person with sharp eyes.
"What's this, old man? When did I do such a thing? If you make false accusations, you won't get away with it. If you have a problem, bring it on. Come on, can't you do it, huh? You're just all talk, old man. Those who slander others for no reason are not qualified to be monks."
The other monk was a timid-looking middle-aged man who kept his mouth shut and hung his head.
"Well, you can't say anything, can you? Well, whatever. I'm a monk too. There's something called compassion. I'll let it slide just this once. From now on, stop slandering innocent people. I'm saying this for your own good. Learn more from me. Got it?"
The young monk twisted the corners of his mouth as if victorious and tried to sit down. At that moment, an elderly man's calm voice rang out.
"Wait a moment. I have something to say to you too."
The young monk stood up straight and glared at the owner of the voice. However, the elderly monk continued calmly.
The other day, when you were going around to houses asking for food, when you found out you couldn't get anything, you threatened the woman who came out of the house, saying things like, "If you don't give it to me, you'll fall into hell. And bring all the food you have." That house was poor, and there were several hungry children. You snatched away the children's food to satisfy your own stomach.
No, that's a misunderstanding on your part.
The young monk suddenly changed his attitude and made a servile smile as if to appease the elderly monk, making excuses.
At that time, I was just speaking in general terms, saying that if you give food, you won't fall into hell. The house looked very poor, but the woman was a person of deep faith and insisted on offering food. I couldn't trample on her feelings, so I reluctantly accepted the food offering. Please don't misunderstand.
Then another monk's voice spoke up.
That's just an excuse. I also know of another scandalous rumor.
The young monk now looked at the new opponent with appraising eyes.
Oh? What evidence do you have to accuse innocent me? Let's hear it.
He probably thought he could easily refute it. The young monk regained his composure and said, at that moment, the Buddha, who had been watching the young monk's behavior intently, stood up and ordered the monks.
"Monks, drive out that young man. Young man, leave."
A clear voice echoed. The young monk flinched and looked at the Buddha. The Buddha's finger was pointed straight at the young monk like the sharp tip of a spear. The young monk realized he could not make excuses and fled from the place in a dejected manner.
"Monks, that young man is like a weed growing in a rice field."
The monks awoke from their excitement and listened intently to the Buddha's words in silence.
In a field, weeds that are indistinguishable from rice or wheat always grow. When they sprout ears, the farmer recognizes them as weeds and pulls them out. Why do you think weeds are pulled out?
It's because weeds hinder the ripening of rice and wheat.
One of the monks answered immediately.
That's right. You all wear the same monk's robes. Therefore, from appearances alone, it's impossible to distinguish whether one is rice or a weed. However, actions and words are like the ears of the plant. Through words and deeds, it becomes clear whether one is a true monk or not.
Yes.
The monks responded, bracing themselves.
If a dirty weed like that young man had mixed in among the monks, you rice and wheat will be adversely affected, and the path to the perfect ripening of enlightenment will become distant. Or you may not even bear fruit and wither away.
The monks imagined withered rice and wheat overlapping with their own figures. The Buddha continued speaking.
There is another problem. If weeds are left unchecked, the entire field will wither and people will starve. What if people seek salvation but cannot find any respectable monks to be their spiritual sustenance?
World-honored one, that must not happen.
The monks spoke earnestly with serious expressions. The Buddha looked around at them with satisfaction and sang a verse.
If you live together, know the person. Pretending to be a monk, with jealousy and desire in the heart. Despising and deceiving others, doing evil in the shadows. If there is such an evil monk, immediately reject him. Remove the weeds right away. Pretending to be a monk with evil conduct and desire. Blow away the defiled grass. Now drive away the evil monks. You who excel in wisdom, live with a calm and pure, undefiled body, and strive for the end of suffering.
The monks closed their eyes and each recited the Buddha's verse in their hearts. And they firmly resolved in their minds to never become weeds. This story reinterprets the ancient Buddhist teachings from a modern perspective and provides universal insights that we can apply to our daily lives. At the center of the story are the young monk's behavior and the Buddha's teachings. Through these, we learn about the complexity of human relationships and the great impact an individual's actions can have on those around them. The story begins with the lesson that a person's true nature cannot be discerned by appearance alone. The young monk was indistinguishable from a monk in appearance, but his actions and words lacked the inner purity of a monk. From this example, we learn that when looking at people, we should not be misled by superficial characteristics or status, and the importance of judging a person's true ethics and morality through their actions and words. This lesson also applies to the people we meet in our daily lives. It shows the importance of not relying on first impressions, but taking the time to understand a person's true character and values. Next, the story emphasizes the purity of action and thought in Buddhist teachings. The young monk's deceit and self-centered actions go against the moral and ethical standards of a monk. This suggests the importance of walking the right path in our own lives as well. It teaches the negative consequences of wrong actions and the value of maintaining honesty and purity. We ourselves are also required to make the right choices from a moral and ethical standpoint in our daily actions and decisions. This story emphasizes the power of an individual's thoughts and actions and the impact they have on the people and environment around them. The Buddha also clearly explains the impact one dishonest member can have on the entire community. This shows the importance of being aware of the impact our actions have on those around us. We are required to have responsibility as good community members and to always be mindful of the impact individual actions have on the group. Each of us must deeply consider what kind of impact our actions have on those around us and take responsible actions. The story also teaches the importance of reflecting on our own actions and improving them when necessary. The young monk's behavior is a symbol of lack of self-awareness and the need for growth. Through self-reflection, we can grow into better human beings and learn from our mistakes. This story shows the importance of constantly engaging in self-evaluation and self-improvement in the journey of self-growth and progress. By deepening our self-awareness and advancing the process of self-improvement, we can lead more fulfilling lives. The Buddha's role is a key element in this story. He is compassionate and at the same time protects the health of the community with strength. His teachings and guidance serve as an important model for us as well. He demonstrates the importance of acting with justice and guiding in the right direction. The existence of a leader like the Buddha serves as a guideline for each of us to make wise choices in the face of the ethical and moral issues we face every day. In summary, this story reflects the core Buddhist teachings of inner purity, individual responsibility, the importance of community, and the necessity of self-growth. By each of us incorporating these teachings into our daily lives and pursuing inner fulfillment, we can lead more harmonious and meaningful lives. The lessons learned from this story will serve as a valuable guide for all of us across time. Through the story, we deeply reflect on our own actions, enrich our relationships with those around us, and can contribute to building a better community.